So moving on to my bike packing gear now, and this will also pretty much be my hiking gear as well, as I step in to do some more hiking this year after surgery. And this is by far much more minimalistic and simple than my touring kitchen setup. What I've chosen for my pot is this here. This is the GSI Outdoors Pinnacle Soloist cookpot set. Now, this cost me $89 from Snowy's. I'm not usually the type to pay that sort of money, but I did get this because it ticked all the boxes for me. I was also looking at the Stanley cookpot as well. Unfortunately, I wanted to get this for a trip that was coming. I've got the evening bugs moving in on me. I wanted to get it for a trip that I was planning, and I couldn't get a Stanley one from anywhere online that had them in stock. I could have got them, but I would have had to wait several weeks. The Stanley is much cheaper than the GSI. And of course the Stanley is stainless steel, so it's probably a lot more robust than this one as well. And it's also a lot cheaper. And so guys, patience is a virtue, trust me. But I do like this. I've used it a few times now, and I quite like it. It comes in this little carry bag, but it also is well seamed and poly lined, so it can be used as a washing tub as well. I think if you're only taking one pot out, I don't know why you would need a washing up container. It is a very sturdy tote bag for the pot, and it helps protect it quite well. Another reason why I like the like this one is because of the locking mechanism on top. That handle comes over, it locks down, and nothing falls out of that. Now, to start off with, for overnight trips and bike packing and a couple of little hiking trips that I did, I was using my little billy pot out of my cook set, but it doesn't lock. It's not very conducive as far as trying to stack stuff inside it, and of course even when you put it in a bag, everything would rattle out of it and it'd be completely through the bag, and that's exactly what it does in the bag. Let's put that to the side. And so this one here, the reason I like it is because, like I said, it's got that locking mechanism through the handle. It's also got the plastic top, and I can keep everything that I want in it. There's my base plate for my stoves. There's a wind guard. There's the stove stand, which I just made up myself out of some bike spokes and shrink pipe, whatever it is. So you got your lighter in there, got the striker in there. I've got, well, Pinnacle call it a foon, but it's a spork. You know what it is. I don't know why they call it a foon. I just do. I can also keep my stove in there. That's a little cup for measuring the fuel. Washcloth, bit of a chucks cut up, and of course it has this cup which can actually be used as a cup or a bowl. The lid can go on that as well. You've got a cup. I don't really like it as a cup because it's got this really weird lip on the end, but it's handy for a bowl if you want to make up a bit of cereal or whatever. But I'm quite more partial to just eating straight out of the pot. And so that's about it. This lid here, of course, it fits the pot. It's got strainer holes around there, and of course the opening there, so you can pour or strain. And this has been working well because I've showed in the last couple of videos, I've been moving in towards the homemade variety of dehydrated foods, and actually they're turning out quite good. And look, I quite like the pot. Is it worth $89? Well, ask me in 12 months time if it's still going well. It is Teflon lined, so it is very, very easy to clean. You don't need a scourer, everything just wipes off, nothing. And of course, like I said, you're just basically reheating food up. So as long as you're putting a lot of heat underneath where you're probably going to get something sticking. I haven't used it over an open fire yet. I've only used it over gas and my metho stoves, and also my multi-fuel stove. And so, like I said, is it worth 89 bucks? Time will tell. Its retail price was actually, I think, about $119.99, and there's just no way I would have paid that for it. But it was a lot cheaper than your MSRs and all that. So we'll see how it goes. I'll just move all that over there. Hey Boof, what are you doing? The Boof has just had a bath. Smells a lot better. So next topic, guys, is my biopacking stoves. And so what I've done is I've moved to these homemade soft drink can stoves, soda can stoves, drink can stoves, whatever you want to call them. But I find they work quite well. Of course, they're not as efficient as a gas stove or a multi-fuel stove, or even probably a hexamine stove, but they do work reasonably well. They're light. They are cheap as chips. Now, of course, you can pay up to, I think, $80, $90 for a Trangia alcohol stove. Here we use methylated spirits, which I think in America they call it denatured alcohol over there. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. Now the stove I used last trip at Cancuna was a homemade metho stove. This is the one I made. It's out of an old fuel bottle that I had. As you can see, I drilled the holes in the wrong spot, so I bought some heat-proof epoxy putty and filled them up and re-drilled some new holes. Now I can boil about 500 mils of water in around 5 minutes in this. This thing really pumps out the bloody heat. Works well though. And so I've made these others as well, just out of cans. And so these work quite well. I find that if you put the pot straight on top, it snuffs the flame out. So that's why I made this little stand to go on top, and of course your cook pot sits on top and all's good. This will be the one I'll be using when I go out, hopefully Monday, to that undisclosed national park, which seems to be okay. I've got a couple made, and look, that's all you need. You're going overnight or a couple of nights, and look, people do bloody trips on these, you know, multi-day hiking trips, bikepacking trips on these. They work well. Now, like if you want to cook a meal, they're probably not the type of thing you would want to use, but if you are just wanting to rehydrate your food or warm food up, warm tin stuff up, they're bloody perfect. And look, you can make that yourself, and I don't need to show you how, because there's that many videos on YouTube about making, I think they call them soda can stoves, and a variety of other homemade stoves. So they're my stoves, guys. And by the way, guys, that is a 750ml fuel bottle that I either carry some shellite or white spirits and metho with me for the stoves, and that just sits in one of my drink cages. I've also got a 1 litre bottle of these, and that is what that first alcohol stove I showed you is actually made out of, a 1 litre bottle of one of them. Last but not least is my final stove, and I bought this because it was cheap. So let's show you. This happens to be a very good stove. This has shellite in it at the moment. I think other places refer to it as white spirits. You can also use unleaded petrol in it. It doesn't work with metho. Trust me, I've tried, and you don't want to try it. And so it's a handy little stove. And the only reason I bought this was because Ray's in Bundaberg were closing down. Now normally that stove, which comes with that pressure pump there, is normally $199. I bought this probably 3 years ago, and it was $199 then. Then you have to pay about $50 for the bottle, about $49.95 I think they were. This set was a display set, and it was the last one left, and so I picked up the whole lot for 99 bucks. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. And the reason I bought that was I was doing a trip down through to Brisbane along the Brisbane Valley Rail Trail, and I knew that I was going to be going out west through Kingaroy, and it was winter time, and we know it gets well below zero out there. Gas stoves don't work great in below zero temperatures, and so yeah, it worked, and it works well. And I think the hiking trip I did through to Cadalba, I had this one with me, and it works very well. So I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I wouldn't have paid full price for it. Would I buy it again now? Probably not. I don't really need it up here in Bundaberg. We certainly don't get below zero temperatures. But it was also a good price, and I knew that if I was going to buy one, that was the one to buy at that time. Well guys, that was pretty much it. I hope that was okay. I hope I clarified everything all right. And Greg, I hope that sort of answered your questions. Like I said, touring and bikepacking is a personal thing, but what works for me doesn't always work for you. It's always good to see what other people have, and you know, to get an idea, but at the end of the day, do what's comfortable for you, and working out what is comfortable for you will be a work in progress. So anyway guys, sorry about the change of scenery so fast, but I forgot to hit record on one section of video there in the end, but I just wanted to get these videos up before I went to hospital. So guys, I'm just going to leave it there. So cheers, and ride safe out there, eh?